For the past 6 months, I've read 21 personal finance books, and what I'm about to share with you, I guarantee will change your life if you apply it correctly. I think it's absolutely crazy that they don't teach this in schools. You know why? Because it's too powerful. The system needs workers, but the system's either working for you or you're working for the system. So here's another slice of success, and this is what I learned from reading 21 personal finance books in 6 months. Every personal finance book has slightly different advice, but there are 3 commonalities in them all. Educate, automate, and invest. So let's start off with educate. Most people don't have a clue about personal finance, and this is the problem. As I mentioned, they don't teach it in schools, so people make bad choices. For example, I grew up in a town in the north of England called Grimsby, which is famous for 2 things, chavs and fish. For my American audience, chavs are people who go around in baseball caps, drinking cans of beer, starting fights, often with one hand down their pants to ensure their manlyhood is still firmly intact. Fish are sea-dwelling creatures that taste good when battered and served with chips. No, not the chips you're thinking of, they're actually called crisps. Never mind. It's fair to say that my financial education was pretty poor. I grew up on a rough council estate with my grandparents, and they bought everything on finance, including ordering my clothes out of catalogues and paying for them over 3 years with interest. And a TV that, no word of a lie, they paid off by putting a £1 coin in every time you wanted to watch it. Bless both of their souls, but I feel like I should do them justice by learning about financial education and sharing it with others so people don't make the same mistakes. And all you need to live a wealthy life is just a little education. So let's look at the second component of wealth, automate. Now I've broken this down into 5 simple steps. So here's how to live a wealthy life where your money works for you rather than you working for your money. Step 1. Set up 4 bank accounts. Yes, 4. It may seem a ball ache at first, but trust me, it will make your life a lot easier in the long run. Make sure none of these accounts charge fees neither. The first account is your everyday expenses account, or checking account. This is where your money should go in when you get paid. This is for stuff like rent or your mortgage, your car insurance, petrol or gas, and groceries. The next account is your treat account. This is guilt-free spending. You know, those beers at the end of the week or the morning Starbucks cappuccinos you need to feed your caffeine addiction. Your third account is your fun savings account. Blah! This is for saving for bigger expenses that you enjoy, like vacations and nights out, or money you need for things like going to weddings or Christmas and birthday gifts, etc. The point is, we don't have to sacrifice all of life's material pleasures and live like monks to live an enjoyable life. We can still treat ourselves from time to time and have rich life experiences while still being financially wealthy. Now the fourth account, this is your firefighting account. This is where you plough money into it every month to clear your debts. All the time you're in debt, money is going out of your account because of those sickening interest rates on things like credit cards and loans. The key to wealth is to have more money going into your account. Tear up your credit cards right now. If you have an expensive car on finance, question whether you really need it. Sure, you'll look good, but the real wealthy people only buy things they can afford. As long as you've got something reliable that can get you from A to B for the time being until you've amassed your wealth, then that's all you need. So now you've got your 4 accounts set up. Step 2. Automate your finances. Being financially secure is easy and stress-free once you do a little maths. Now, your everyday expenses should reflect 60% of your earnings after tax. So say your salary is $2,000 a month, which goes into your checking account. Then your everyday expenses should be $1,200. Write a list of what your everyday expenses are, the things you must pay, like rent and bills. Automate as many of these things you can so you just don't have to think about them. They're then done, it's out of your mind, it's one less stress. And if you find that your everyday expenses are way higher than this, then you could be living beyond your means. Are you renting a place that's more than you can afford? Are you driving to the store when you could easily bike? Try and get your everyday reoccurring expenses down to 60% at all costs. Now, you're going to set up automated transfers from your checking account into your other accounts. So if you get paid on the 1st of every month, you're going to transfer the remaining 40% of your wages on the 3rd of every month into your other accounts. So on the 3rd, you're going to automatically transfer 10% from your checking account into your treat account. So again, say if you're earning $2,000 a month, then that's $200 to do whatever you want with. Enjoy it, it's yours, you've earned it. But keep your eye on it. You can set this account up for Apple Pay or use online banks such as Monzo to keep track all from your phone. Then you're going to automatically transfer another 10% from your checking account into your fund savings account. Again, do whatever you want with it. Save up for that holiday in Hawaii or that ridiculous thing off Amazon you've been eyeing up for the past 2 months. Then finally, you're going to automatically transfer the final 20% into your firefighting account every month. Step 3. Save a $1,000 security net. Every now and again life happens, we all know it. Your car breaks down, you get an unexpected bill through your door, and this can seriously mess everything up. The next step is to use your firefighting account to save $1,000 just in case something like this happens. Remember, 20% of your wages after tax is automatically going into this account every month, so you won't even have to think about it. And this will give you security and peace of mind when life throws a curveball at you. Step 4. Get rid of your debts and cut up your credit cards. Once you've saved up your $1,000 security net, it's time to use your firefighting account to clear off your debts and become finally debt-free. Remember, it's automated, so you shouldn't have to think about it. At this point, it's worth calling up your credit card issuer and telling the bank you want 0 interest on your debt for 18 months. Just say you want them to match another bank's transfer offer. Of course, there's no chance they'll actually do it, but there's a good chance they'll cut your interest at least if you stand firm. Don't let them boss you around. Now use the money from your fire extinguisher account to pay off your debts month by month. Tackle the smallest ones first, then move on to the bigger ones. Step 5. It's time to invest. Now this is where you can start to make money work for you rather than the other way round. This is where your journey to financial freedom really begins. Now you've cleared off your debt using your firefighting account, you'll have freed up 20% of your income. You're now going to use this to make serious cash. You know how the rich get richer and the poor stay poor? As Rich Dad Poor Dad explains, the rich invest their money into assets, which are things that are going to make them more money. The poor spend their money on liabilities, which are things that offer no return or lose their value over time. So the best assets you can invest in are stocks and index funds. Now don't get scared by all the investing jargon. Basically, stocks are buying a tiny slice of a company. If the company does well, the value of your stock goes up and you can sell it for more than you originally paid for it. And index funds are managed funds where shares are invested in the biggest companies in the world. So in the US you have the S&P 500, which are the biggest 500 companies in America. In the UK you have the FTSE 100, which are, yeah you guessed it, the biggest 100 companies in the UK. Index funds will buy shares in these huge companies when their stock prices are low and sell when they are high, thus making you a tidy profit. You don't actually need to do any of the work or research yourself. The trick is to find an index fund with low management fees and let it take care of itself over a long period of time. And index funds are no gimmick either. Multi-billionaire investor Warren Buffett stated that he'll be putting 90% of all his money into index funds for his wife when he dies. Now stocks are generally riskier than index funds as the companies you invest in can go belly up, so it's important not to put all your eggs into one basket. However, index funds are safer as the market trend has consistently risen over time. For example, if you invested $1 in 1802, it would be worth over 930,000 times that amount today. While all the finance books have different opinions, generally a safe bet is splitting your investments 40% in stocks and 60% in an index fund. The returns on an index fund are also much higher than normal savings accounts. What's more, you'll benefit from what is known as compound interest. And this is how Warren Buffett got mega rich. Compound interest is the interest an investor earns on his original investment, plus all the interest that he has earned on the interest over time. It's basically interest on interest. Let's say you invest $1,000 with an annual interest of 10%. So after a year, you get a 10% return. So that's an extra $100 after the first year in interest. So now you have $1,100. Then, after the second year, you get 10% interest on that, which is $110. So you now have $1,210. Then, the third year, you get 10% interest on that, which is $121. So you now have $1,331. You've made $331 by doing nothing. You've literally made money while you sleep. And the longer you do it, the bigger returns you get each year. Now imagine you're investing 20% of your income every month. Let's say again your income after tax is $2,000, so you're investing $200 every month. Over the course of 30 years, you will have invested $72,200, but because of compound interest, you will have well over $400,000. And it's a pretty simple question. Would you prefer to save $72,200 over 30 years or make $400,000 over the same time period with little extra effort? And that's how the rich get richer, and that's why Warren Buffett's wealth has grown like this over time. So let's summarise. Step 1. Set up 4 bank accounts. Step 2. Automate transfers from your checking account into your treat, fund savings and firefighting accounts. Step 3. Save a $1,000 emergency fund. Step 4. Pay off your debts. Step 5. Invest in stocks and an index fund and watch your wealth grow. I hope you found this information as inspiring as I did. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more slices of success and give this video a like to show your support. See you next time, beautiful people.